people managed to get out of Egyptian slavery thanks to divine intervention with 10 plagues that led the Egyptians to let them out. But as soon as they left the borders of Egypt, Pharaoh changed his mind and pursued them to the Red Sea, the Yam Suf, where he had, the Hebrews that is, had the option of dying in the sea or returning to Egypt with the Egyptians. Again, God intervened. He parted the waters of the sea and they were able to escape, while the Egyptians that were running after them would die in the sea when the waters came together again. Now, the Hebrews are in the desert and they have to face the people of Amalek who make war with them for no reason at all. This time, divine intervention occurs as well. However, only after the people take up arms. A new relationship is produced between God and the Hebrew people. While the exodus from Egypt would have been impossible without divine intervention, the struggle against Amalek was an event whose outcome was a partnership between God and the people of Israel. Apparently, there is a new situation that governs the relationship between God and the Jewish people from that moment on. As we used to say in Peru, in Lima, Peru, we used to say, help yourself and heaven will help you. God promised the land of Israel to the Jewish people, but now it requires a cooperation, a conjunction of wills, the union of forces, God and the people. On the one hand, without the chalutzim, without the pioneers that came in the beginning, especially in the beginning of the 20th century, there was always a presence of Jews, but many more thousands came in the beginning of the 20th century. There would have been no state of Israel. There would have been no partition really in November of 1947, when the United Nations made the partition of that region into a Jewish state and an Arab state. Had there not been an important Jewish presence, 600,000, 650,000 Jews that were living at that time. On the other hand, the War of Independence of Israel in 1948, when Israel in May declared its independence, immediately it was assaulted by all their Arab neighbors. Israel did not have a well-prepared army. Jordan had the Arab Legion. They had armies that had been trained by the British. It would have produced a disaster. But the Israelis were fighting for their life, and it's a different kind of fight. And without a doubt, God was on their side also. There must have been divine intervention as well. We have to ask ourselves, okay, the war with Amalek, when the Jews came out of Egypt, the Jews won. God and the Jews, there was, as I said, a society was formed, cooperation. God would help, but the Jews had to do something themselves. Why do we mention annually in this synagogue, and that is a very important reading of the Torah, that we have to erase the memory of Amalek? Besides, if we did it last year, why do we have to do it again this year? Apparently we didn't do it last year. Maybe the answer is something altogether different. Amalek doesn't disappear. It mutates. It acquires new personalities, new disguises. It appears in each generation differently. Don't we say in the Haggadah on Pesach, Bechol dor vador omdim aleinu lechalotenu? In every generation, there are those that rise and want to destroy us. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and God helps us to destroy them. The fight against evil does not end because evil mutates. A different mask is put on. At one time it was Haman, another time it was Hitler. There are different expressions of it. But we have to conclude on something very important. Maybe the task isn't so much to erase Amalek as it is to fight against it, to struggle against it. In other words, there are situations we all have to face, difficult situations. We have to learn how to fight. We have to learn not to give up in the face of adversity. You know, Yaakov had to meet his brother Esau that came to see him with 400 people, armed people. It was going to be some kind of fight, and it says the night before he has an encounter with a man, maybe it was an angelical figure that fights with him, and at the end Jacob is hurt, but he overcomes him, and he says, I won't let you go unless you bless me. So the angel says to him, from now on, your name is no longer going to be Jacob. You're going to be called Israel. Why Israel? Ki sarita im Elokim v'anashim v'tuchal. Because you wrangled, you wrestled with God and people, and you became victorious. V'tuchal, you overcame. So maybe his name should have been overcome. You can overcome. His name is Yaakov. Yaakov is ki sarita, because you fought. That is the important thing. Don't give up in the face of adversity, in the face of evil. Don't stand still. You must react against it. You won't conquer it, all right, but you have taken a step further. And what is maybe more important, the idea of fighting, of reacting against evil, strengthens you. Every time you become stronger, you become sure of yourself. Even though you will never attain complete victory, you will have grown in the process of confronting evil in this world. Because unfortunately, there are those that want to destroy, there are those that want to build. Make sure you're on the side of those that build.